Good morning, Ajinkya. Good morning, Leeladhar. Good morning, Deepa. Good morning, Aniket. Good morning, Ashutosh.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Himanshu. Good morning, Jaideep. Good morning, Nakul. Good morning, Om, Prajot, Pravinesh. Good morning, Shantanu. Good morning, Ritesh, Tejas, Vishal, Yash. Rishikesh, will you make me enable to share the screen? Rishikesh, sir.
Okay, sir. Done.
Thank you. Just quickly revise the two parts. First one is the year of, uh, which is which is about 6.8% of its land area. It has approximately the 733 million of population, which is around 11% of the world's current population. It is bordered by Arctic Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, Mediterranean Sea, Black Sea, and the connected waterways. It is also known as Europa. It is containing around 47 different countries, and people mostly speak here more than 50 languages. It has cold weather in north and warm in the south. The second, uh, the Ural Mountains or the river, part of Arabian Sea and sorry, uh, Caspian Sea and the Caucasus Mountains, and one more point you can consider that is related to Eurasia. And the last one is the Australia, which is the smallest one. The It lies on continental shelf overlain by shallow areas, which is dividing it into several land masses. Here you could have it's the smallest and the lowest lying human inhabited continent on the Earth, which is containing the interiors of the continent are predominantly the plains. So here you do see southeast and southwest plains, which are the most densely settled areas of Australia. Apart from kangaroos, if you see there, uh, vast wildlife, wherein uh, rare species and its own rare species, which are known as the land of the kangaroos, can be seen. The native, you can see here, it has a Great Barrier Reef, which is the world's largest coral reef. So you can consider the native people in Australia, which are called uh, Aborigines, and whatever the other people you consider, which are related to criminals sent from Europe long ago. So apart from kangaroos, koalas and platypus live in Australia and the Great Barrier Reef of this particular continent. So this is what we have considered. Now, next part is oceans. After going through the pieces of land, now you can consider the pieces of water called oceans. So these are nothing but the very large areas of salt water, and which is covering most of the earth. So in general, you do see 5 different categories of these, right from Pacific to Arctic via Atlantic, Indian, and Antarctic. So very first one is the Pacific. You can see its region, right, which is surrounded by here Americas, Asia, and Australia. So it's nothing but the biggest reaches from America to Asia and Australia, surrounded by a line of volcanoes known as Ring of Fire, and it is also home to the Great Barrier Reef, which is nothing but the largest coral reef in the world. So it means calm and peaceful. Here you can make a correction. Uh, it is largest, deepest in the world. It's if you consider the Mariana Trench, which is the world's deepest trench. So most of the islands of this particular ocean are volcanic or of coral origin. Right. I advise everyone to please mute yourself. Now, next one is the Atlantic Ocean. Now, as like Pacific Ocean, you have seen, you can consider here the Atlantic Ocean. So, which this particular continent is, and which one this one is. So, which is being in between these two, you can find out this particular ocean. Can anybody identify this particular continent as well as this particular continent?
Sir, in the left side, South America, in the right side, Africa.
Good. It's South America, and this is nothing but the Africa. Fine. So that's what you do have. Now, it is the second largest ocean of the world, having a depth of 3,300 meters. If you consider its name, which was derived from Atlas, it, uh, a Titan in Greek mythology, right? That is also called as the giant. Now it covers 1/5 of the Earth's surface and which has the longest coastline. Right? So longest coastline, if you consider, then it is by this particular ocean. The most important feature of this particular ocean, you can consider that it is the busiest ocean as far as trade and commerce is concerned, and it connects two most industrialized regions, continents, as Western Europe and the Northeast United States of America. So these are the two things which you can consider. In fact, now what about this most industrialized, and that would be uh, since already we have not talked about this one, but you will come across this particular thing whenever you will be going for the history. So you will have you will come to know that yes, the most industrialized regions, and then how through their competition the whole world is suffering by different things, and through which you can consider the world wars, right? The main causes of world wars, a kind of competition. So volcanic islands are fewer, which include Cuba, Jamaica, and then Puerto Rico. So this is related to uh, the ocean lying between America and mostly Africa.
Excuse me,
Now,
sir.
yes,
Sir, due to Panama Canal also there is lot of trade, na?
sorry.
Due to Panama Canal.
Just a minute. I'm not able to hear you clearly. Are you saying Panama?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yes. Go ahead.
Sir, due to Panama Canal, there is lot of trade.
Okay. You are saying something in the sense of trading, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it is true. But ultimately, the basic thing is that these two continents were really industrialized, right? Particularly very first Europe, and then later on you can consider the America, right? So what has happened? Long since long, these two are I can say most industrialized, right? And now what they will do about the production they have. So they will be always looking for the customers across the globe. Now, see if they want to enter into Asia, then further at very first they have to look towards some of the countries, right? That there had been France, there had been Germany, there had been some smaller countries. So they must have to have the good relationships with these, right? Through land to enter into Asia, and obviously to go to any of the other country, they could have used water. But as far as this particular canal, whatever you are saying, right, in between these, you do consider yes, that is again a very good kind of, rather it was a great channel for performing this particular say what I can say, trading. Fine. So no doubt it's there. Now the next ocean, that is Indian Ocean. Anybody wants to know or say something? Okay. So Indian Ocean. Now you can consider how it is. So here you can see Antarctica, here you see Australia, here you see Asia, here you see Africa, right? And this is the only ocean which is named after a country's name, and that is what? India, right? So named after country, and from India, that is called Indian Ocean. So it is home to many endangered sea creatures, including turtles, seals, and dugongs, which are also called as the sea cows. Right. So you can see the sea cows. We have seen the cows, but as far as sea cows are concerned, you can have these pictures. So its area is, let's say, 734 7,344,000 square kilometer, and its depth is 3,960 meters, 3,960 meters. It is the only ocean which is named after a country, contains numerous continental islands. So the most important, you can have the Madagascar and Sri Lanka. And again, they are the largest among the whatever numerous continental islands are there in this particular ocean. So some of the volcanic origin islands are Mauritius, Andaman and Nicobar, Seychelles, Maldives, Lakshadweep. So some of the other islands apart from these two islands, which are termed as the largest one, and obviously further many more islands are there, right? Among them, some of are given here. So the second last one you can consider as such. As such, it is in this particular say region surrounded by the Antarctic continent, right? So this particular region, and because of this, it is being called as Antarctic Ocean, right? Many of the books would be there which are not considering this as the ocean, and that would be acceptable as well. But still, as earlier I said that for the easiness of understanding, we are going to consider this one, right? And obviously, because of the nature of this particular continent, which is nothing but the coldest among all the continents. So it is known as the Antarctic Ocean, as it surrounds Antarctica. It is the coldest and wildest ocean in the world, right? So this particular say feature, right, the characteristic that is coldest, as well as it is also wildest one, right, among the all oceans. And the last one is the Arctic Ocean, right? So here, which is the smallest ocean in the world, and you can find out it where it is, which regions are. Anybody? So
North America and Asia.
North America and
Asia.
Northwest.
Sorry, North. Okay, so it surrounds the Arctic, right? So often the Arctic Ocean is completely covered in the ice. So polar bears, right? which live on the ice, and that covers the ocean and can swim in the water. It is the smallest, right, of the all the oceans. It is shallowest of all oceans as well, with an average depth of only 987 meters. It lies in Arctic Circle. Therefore, its name is Arctic Ocean. Now, if you consider the most of the parts of this ocean, which always remains frozen with thick ice of the most of the days in the year. It has least salinity of all the oceans, and further it has the salinity of around 30 ppt. Right. So that's what you can consider. Fine. Some of the other things which are important related to the oceans, that they make 70% of Earth's surface. There are over say 7 lakh different species of animal which live in the oceans, and it is important to protect the oceans to make sure their habitats which are safe. The ocean is also full of tiny plants that helps to produce oxygen, right, which we need to breathe. So whatever the life, right, that requires that particular oxygen. On top of this, oceans also provide food for many creatures, right, even including the human being. Right. Okay, that's what you do see in the oceans. So just I wanted to give you the sort of say idea for the pieces of water, right, up as like the pieces of land. Fine. So that's what we do consider. Okay, now let's see some okay. At the first, you have a challenge to identify what could be the point. What could be headline for this one? Carefully, you can see each of these, say, images, right, in a figure. And you can say, rather you can guess, and I wanted you to guess.
Say environment.
You are very close. Can you change the word?
Sir, food web.
Sorry, food?
Food web.
Food web.
Nature.
Nature, see, the last 2 points are also part of nature.
Yes.
Right.
Biotic and biotic.
You are very, very close, but you have to go for the wider horizon. Right?
Ecosystem.
So, exactly, you are saying that, but can you identify its synonym? No doubt. You can call it as ecosystem. Yes, exactly. This is nothing but what? Biosphere. So see what not you do have in this one. So you can see different kinds of things, right, which are forming a let's say sphere, layer, whatever you want to call, right? So which is also termed as ecosystem, right? And obviously, apart from all these things, see at the center you can see the people like us, right? So because of this, now we are going to have a new topic called biosphere. So what not it contains. So you do see here Earth, right? As now broadly we know it's two sections, and how further they are being divided into 7 plus 5 different pieces, respectively, of land and water. Now, as far as biosphere is concerned, you do see different kinds of spheres called a lithosphere, cryosphere, atmosphere, right, hydrosphere, and itself biosphere. So in general, you do see these different kinds of spheres. Then what you will have as far as biosphere is concerned. So here you do see a biosphere which is containing within itself hydrosphere, ecosphere, atmosphere, and lithosphere. So all are these contained by a sphere which is known as biosphere. And therefore, you can consider that now Earth has the 4 major connected systems. Earth is having 4 major connected systems. So very first you can see that biosphere. Second one is the hydrosphere, right, which is having all of Earth's water, ice, water vapor. Third one is the atmosphere, right, being the air blanket for Earth, right, again for solid and liquid surfaces. And lastly, you can consider litho, or you can say geosphere, features of Earth's surface, right, having the continents, rock, sea, floor, and everything below Earth's surface, right. And altogether, you can see these can be called as the ecosystem or ecosphere, right. So by mistake. Okay. Now see, one by one, what we will have. So as far as biosphere is concerned, right? So you do have here itself 3 different spheres: lithosphere. Here you do have biosphere, and here you do have hydrosphere. So by seeing this circle or looking towards this circle, what you can predict, what it contains. So life in the Earth
Biosphere
system.
contains atmosphere, hydrosphere, and lithosphere.
No doubt, yes, it is containing these, let's say, 3 different spheres. But through the point of view of, say, life, you can say that uh, biosphere is the portion of the Earth which is inhabited by life. So here you can see the trees, here you can see the human life, right? So inhabited by the life. As such, if you consider lithosphere, right, hardly you will say that it is inhabited by life. No doubt, water is also inhabited by life, but specifically of not including of the human beings, right? So biosphere is, and that's what the basic difference you can have related to these 3 different spheres or any of the other sphere, right? And itself, this is itself a single sphere, this is itself a single sphere, but this is the combination of different spheres. That is another point of differences you do have. So it's the part of Earth where life exists, and it is nothing but the global sum of all ecosystems, right? See what I'm terming it as global sum. Now, it can be termed as the zone of life on the Earth. This particular zone is related to the life, which includes uh, living as well as non-living parts. So when I said What do you predict by seeing this particular sphere? At that time, I was completely expecting the living and non-living parts, or what you can say, biotic, abiotic, right? So these two words, anyway, we have to see, and see the whole biosphere, right, is nothing but related to biotic and abiotic. So there comes in a terminology called biota, right? Once a while the question have been asked about this particular point. So biota, what you will understand by the biota, which is nothing but the collection of just living things in the biosphere. So you can see here in this particular sphere, right? So here you do see water bodies, or let's say water life. Here you do see the plants, right, which is nothing but the life. And obviously you would be seeing the human beings. So that's what the collection of just living things, though it is containing living as well as non-living. But among these two, if only you consider the another section called non-living parts, then it is termed as biota. So collection of just living things in the biosphere is nothing but the biota. Right now, so it has a geological origin. So as far as ecology is concerned, which is as the science of biosphere, uh, it's an interdisciplinary concept for integrating astronomy, geophysics, meteorology, biogeography, okay. So in real sense, it is the interdisciplinary. So already we considered three different things, but apart from that, if you consider more scientifically, then you will come across astronomy, geophysics, meteorology, biogeography, right, and evolution, geology, geochemistry, hydrology, and lastly you do see, uh, or in general, you can see all life as well as earth sciences. So you can see how it is interdisciplinary, really how many different fields, how many different things it is containing: astronomy, geophysics, meteorology, biogeography, evolution, geology, geochemistry, hydrology. And in these days, further you may add some of the other things to this particular list, right? And for that, we are calling, but that to be related to what? The life, or simply you can call that earth sciences, right? So generally speaking, all life and earth sciences. So this is a thing you do or you need to consider, right? So it is an interdisciplinary concept of integrating these things. And now here you can see a thing which is containing how many different things. So at individual you can find out, right? Then you can go for the level of population. Then you can go for again the wider one, that is called community. Again you can go for wider one called ecosystem, right? And there further you do have biome, biota, right? And ultimately you can reach to the biosphere. So the purpose of saying interdisciplinary, putting these different terminologies, names, and then showing this particular image. So what do you get from this? So in real sense, how this is interdisciplinary, how many different things, parts, which are being contained by this particular part called or known as biosphere, right? So this is a point you need to know. Now, if we are considering right from individual, say, to a last stage called biosphere, right, via population, community, ecosystem, right, biome, biota, and some other layers. So what you will know, or how would you understand these at different things by considering the same one. So here you can see an individual, right? So now you can identify or understand what could be the individual. Further, you can see its population, right? The differences, right, in the population. Later on, you go to community. Now, see, once you come across community, that doesn't mean that you are of a single type or you are of a singularity. No, here you can see, here you do see some other water bodies, some other water life, right? Say again, the most important part required for them, right? And there it's creature, right? Then you can see the plants. So this forms community. Further, if you add up these things, further you add up these things, right? It goes to ecosystem, right? Further, if you widen its horizon related to, say, a kind of, yes, it is a global ecosystem composed of living organisms and the non-living organisms, or the factors from which they derive energy as well as nutrients. No doubt, yes, it's true. Fine. And at the last, if you further go on, then you will come to biosphere, wherein further you do see these increased things, right? Again, including this one. So these are, this is what you can consider. Now, this will be giving you an idea, but in real sense, if you want to start from very first one and go to the last one, then scientifically what you do have. So, you know, the smallest one, right? Smallest across the world. What it is? It is nothing but the atom, right? Then if some of this kind of things come together, they will form molecule. If such kind of molecules get cascaded together, they will known as organelle. If some organelle come together, they will produce cell. Cells are composed by organs. Organs are going to form organ system. Organ system is going to organize the organisms. Organisms will lead, or organisms will create population. Population will form community. Community will give birth to ecosystem. Ecosystem is going to give another terminology or a wider perspective called bio. And obviously biome is going to form biosphere. So biosphere is nothing but biome, or biosphere is containing biome. Biome is containing ecosystem. Likewise, if you consider the last one, so it itself is not this part. Biosphere is not itself only this one. You can see biosphere is containing all these things, right? So at different levels, you do have these many different ways. So atom, molecules, organelle, cell, organ system, organism, population, community, ecosystem, biome, right? All together are forming the biosphere. And that's what you do, or you need to look at this particular point. And this is what you need to understand, right? It is not a simply word called biosphere containing living and non-living things, right? So how the living and non-living things are really forming a biosphere. So this particular pyramid is telling to you, right, about the formation of biosphere. And no doubt, some of the things you can consider which are well explained in this one. For example, here you can consider the biome or ecosystem, right, at this particular part. And if you go down, down and down and down, you will reach to the smallest one, right? So smallest one, the largest one. And in between these, you do have these things. Now, in order to study each of these, you will be having different kinds of science or different kinds of art. So altogether, you will be applying different things, right? To study right from atom to biosphere, and that needs to be done, right? So that is what here you are going to have. Now, as far as biotic and abiotic factors, right, which are the fact in the biosphere. So again, you will have a kind of section. So all four of Earth systems, which are connected to each other or connected to another. So a hypothesis, right, which is nothing but Earth having it's a kind of living organism, right? So having a, or called as the Gaia hypothesis, right? So this is a part you will be going to have in this particular this particular say point. Later on, you will come to know the say next terminology that is called the climate. So it is nothing but prevailing weather of the region that you are going to see, right? So, okay, there is a question called, sir, what is, yeah, yes. You can consider it as a theory, right? Or it's a paradigm, or further you can consider as a principle. So which proposes the living organisms interact with their inorganic surroundings on the earth in order to form a synergy, right? As well as self-regulation, some complex systems, which will definitely help to maintain and perpetuate the conditions for life on the planet. So what is a Gaia hypothesis? Simply it is a theory. You can call it as a theory, or you can call it as a paradigm, or you can call it as a principle. But for what purposes, right? So altogether it proposes, that is the purpose. It proposes the living organisms are interacting with the inorganic surrounding on the earth. Now, why this interaction is there? This interaction is for their inorganic surrounding, for their synergistic and self-regulating, or say complex systems. Fine. So altogether, it will help to maintain as well as perpetuate the conditions for life on the planet, right? So it should be suitable for life on the planet called Earth. So that is what this Gaia hypothesis is telling to you. So you can consider theory, principle, or a kind of paradigm, right? Which is telling you about the relationship between the living organisms with the interaction of the living organisms with the inorganic part of the earth, right? So later on we need to go to climate. So it's nothing but the weather of the region, prevailing region, weather of the region, fine. So which is always informing you on day-to-day or on daily basis, or you can say day-to-day conditions, and that is termed as weather. So you can see how these two are, right? So climate and weather are two things you can pay the attention. Now, I said that the prevailing conditions of the regions, but already we know that Earth is having so many regions, right? Earth is having so many regions. So here you can have a long-term pattern, right? Here you have a long-term pattern which is forming the climate, or which are giving you the weather conditions. Now over the earth, right, over the land surfaces, specifically we can see their concern. You do have so many different kinds of climate. So categorically tropical, dry, moderate, continental, polar, right? Further, they are being divided into their different parts, right? And you can see each of the continent is having different parts or containing among these, right? So as far as our country again itself, see in only in our country we do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And here at the last 6 different, say, points, right? That needs to be considered. So you do have a climate, right? Okay, someone has raised the hand. Would you like to ask something? Aniket? Gaurav, will you make yourself mute? Okay. So this is what you can see towards Earth, right? And now you can see one by one, right, how they are going to see. Already we considered some of the features of these while seeing continents, right? But now you will really understand what exactly the part is, right? And that's the reason why I haven't spent much time in explaining the continents and oceans. So whatever the necessary part, that only I have, or rather I wanted you to originate in this direction, because real details are coming ahead to know more about these, right? So in general, you should know what exactly geographically each of these pieces of land and the water, right? And then broadly what they are going to have. So that was the purpose, right? But here you can see in a deeper manner. Fine. Now you will come to know the key factors that are going to shape the climate, right? So what are that key factors? You can just see here, right? So these are the key factors which you can consider, or which are really important. So you can see incoming solar energy, right? Having a stratus clouds. Here there would be a precipitation, evaporation, right, which get fall on here. Then some of that will get into the land, some will get runoff to the oceans. Further you see there are sea ices, there are winds, there are heat and sanity exchanges. Then there would be again precipitation, evaporation. You will be finding out stratus clouds, right? Columnous clouds, in fact formation of clouds, right, in the atmosphere. And some sort of outing heat energy would be there, which is being re-radiated by Earth, right? There will be evaporative and heat energy exchanges between atmosphere and the Earth, right? Some water would be let's say what we can say, some water would be under the ground, right? Or you can say some land surface processes, right? Obviously one more important factor that you are going to consider is soil moisture, right? Then different topographies, particularly if you can consider the bottom of the ocean, then you can call it as ocean bottom topography, ocean model layers. Then some of the vertical overhuttings, fine. And obviously you will know the atmosphere model, right? Different kinds of layers of this one. So these are the factors which are the part of climate, right? So you cannot see the climate without considering these things. So that's what you can consider. But there are key factors in the climate. So very first one is the temperature. Second one is the sunlight. Right. By and large, you may say same sort of meaning of these two, but obviously it is through the point of view of light. Third one is the water, right? Which in another word you can say moisture. And the last one is the wind. So these are the four factors which are highly affecting, or these are the key points or the key ingredients of a climate, right? So without these, you cannot go ahead, right? Or at the time of seeing or while considering climate, you have to consider these four different points, which are integrated part of the climate, right? So that's what we have to consider. But now we will stop here. In next session, we will proceed further. Okay, anything which you would like to ask or know more or add anything or any of the queries? Now, actually, we started looking into a kind of thing which will tell you about the atmosphere, biosphere, right? Okay, Ayush, yes, I'm going to say the same thing. Ayush has put a question, so it is open to everyone, right? So anybody who can tell. Before that, I will tell you the meaning of that particular question. So he has asked the region wherein El Nino is not happening, right? So if you consider El Nino, what exactly it is, that first understand, and then obviously it would be then easy to predict at what region or place it would not be there.
Sir, can I?
You can, but just a moment. Let me first tell you what exactly El Nino, right? So it is nothing but the warm phase of the southern oscillation, which is associated with a band of warm ocean water. Right. So what is El Nino? You can consider the band of a warm ocean water, right? So that's what a point. Okay, now somebody wants to tell. Can you add? Because the next statement, if I say, then answer will be revealing. Yes,
Yeah.
go ahead.
During this, in this process, the condition of seawater temperature in the Central and Western Pacific falls below the normal and happens due to the South Pacific subtropical high becoming the exceptional strong during the summer season. And it is also known as a, it means the little girl present in the situation that can be described roughly opposite to the El Nino.
Yes, exactly. Right. So he has added some other part, and really it is important. So you can consider the central and east central equatorial, right, Pacific, which is including the Pacific coast of South America, right? So this is what you do have. Okay, so anything else?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay, thank you everyone. I think sir has come.
Thank you, sir. Have a nice day, sir.
Have a good day.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning, sir.